Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us here. My name is Chris Miller, and I'm the chairman of the Illinois Freedom Caucus. And we're finishing up the conversation that was had by the three governors, and you may ask why we took time to show up here today, and it's because we knew our Governor Pritzker, would gaslight you and even just bold-faced lie to you. And guess what? We weren't disappointed because he did exactly what we thought he would do. In Illinois, people are voting with their feet. We're broke, people are leaving. We're not only fiscally broke, but we're morally bankrupt in our state. And it's all because of poor leadership. One of the things that I thought was interesting is, he kept talking about the budget and how he's balanced it every year he's been governor. Well, it was just a new budget, but out of the old playbook. They spend more, fix nothing, and send the doggone bill to the taxpayers of Illinois. And we expected that, and that's why we're here. Our governor plays not only the arsonist, but he plays the fireman too. And nothing will ever be able to be fixed as long as he is in charge. I've been to the border in Mexico. I've been to Chicago, and we've seen the result of this disastrous policies in our sanctuary city status. I came in the same time that Governor Pritzker came in, and one thing we watched him do in real time is he's destroyed safety and security in Illinois. He's destroyed quality education. He's destroyed economic opportunity. He has destroyed our energy independence, and he is destroying the middle class in the state of Illinois. And one thing we would like to see him do is for us to compete to be number one. The only category we're number one in is the category of being stupid. It's time for us in Illinois to join the golden age of America, ushered in by our great president, Donald Trump. It's time for leadership in Illinois to put Illinois citizens first. And with that, I want to bring Congresswoman Mary Miller up to the microphone. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I just concluded a grilling with JB Pritzker. He showed up to testify at the Oversight Committee about the impact of being a sanctuary state. His policies are not only dangerous, but they're costing Illinois taxpayers billions. He has got a history of standing for criminals and for illegals over the citizens of Illinois. And sadly, we had the parents of a 20-year-old who was killed by an illegal in January of this past year. And an illegal hit 5 20-year-olds in a car in Urbana, Illinois. They were stopped at a stop sign, hits them at 78 miles an hour, and kills Katie, and another girl died the next day. Luckily, the man took off. He didn't try to call 911. He didn't try to help him. He took off on foot. Fortunately, he was arrested in Texas trying to get to Mexico. Now, if he would have stayed in Illinois, probably nothing would have happened to him until he would have been allowed to commit another crime. JB Pritzker's policies are deadly, and they're costing the citizens of Illinois billions, and he would be terrible for the country. Thank you so much. And now I'd like to introduce Leader Holbrook.
Thank you, Congresswoman Miller.
Yeah.
I'm Brad Halbrook, Illinois State Representative from the 107th District in East Central Illinois and founding member of the Illinois Freedom Caucus. Today we saw the rollout of what potentially will be the 2028 presidential sweepstakes, less the California governor. Right now it looks like JB Pritzker has a lot of work to do if he wants to be president. Sanctuary state laws protect no one except illegal aliens. All the while, the hardworking Illinoisans are asked to pay the freight on this misguided policy. This cost can not only be counted in billions of dollars, but also the cost of lives, along with the physical and mental scars of individuals and families that will never ever go away. Families who have lost loved ones and who have been victimized. The governor wants to blame Donald Trump, the Texas governor, and even Bruce Rauner for the immigration disaster. But let me be clear. It is JB Pritzker and only JB Pritzker who has been in charge of Illinois, as we have spent well over $3 billion on illegal aliens in the state of Illinois. If it is JB Pritzker who rolled out the red carpet and sent state resources to keep these people in Illinois. This is his failure and no one else's. Governor Pritzker has called for mass protests, and now his wish has come true as the streets of Chicago are being filled with protesters following the LA riots. Governor Pritzker speaks out of both sides of his mouth by saying that he is prioritizing public safety. However, he has compromised public safety. The governor cannot suddenly pivot from being pro-criminal to pro-safety. No one is buying that. The countless stories of loss of life and physical harm to American citizens because of Governor Pritzker's harboring of illegal aliens, it's shameless, it's mind-numbing, and it has to stop. And the lawmakers here today are fighting to put it to stop. With that, thank you, and I'd now like to introduce Senator Leader Andrew Chesney.
Thank you, Brad. I'm State Senator Andrew Chesney, and the safest person in the state of Illinois is an illegal immigrant, and that's because of JB Pritzker. See, it wasn't enough that we have the highest property taxes in the nation, some of the highest overall tax burden in the entire nation, but not only has JB Pritzker rolled out the red carpet, he refuses to work with federal law enforcement. The consequences could not be more stark. The best company to invest in the state of Illinois is U-Haul, because the only thing that JB Pritzker protests is the census that came out a few years ago, where Illinois is one of just a few states that lost population. See, the narrative that JB Pritzker wants to put out, that everything's okay, everything in Illinois is great, what he won't tell you is that every budget that he passed, every budget that the Democrat majority put forward, included multiple hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of tax increases. What he also won't tell you is how he's ever going to provide property tax relief or relief of any kind to any Illinois taxpayer. JB Pritzker hates the taxpayers of Illinois so much, and you just got to look at where he puts his own money, his own investment. See, during COVID, he told everybody to stay home, but he sent his family to the Freedom of Florida. He asked everybody to invest in Illinois, but he parks his money in the Grand Caymans. See, he's asking you to invest in Illinois, but he himself wants to avoid taxes and won't invest there himself. And so we're here today to highlight that JB Pritzker's narrative is not working. It's not working in Illinois, but it's certainly not going to work throughout the country. JB Pritzker spent $400 million to buy elections, gerrymanders maps. He makes it easy to cheat. He makes it easy to vote, easy to cheat, and impossible to approve. And he knows that. And now he's going to try to take this ideology, this woke, liberal, progressive ideology that has destroyed the state of Illinois on the national stage, and he's going to fail. And we're here to fight it every step of the way. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Leader Blaine Wilhauer.
Hey, thank you. State Representative Blaine Wilhauer here. I think JB Pritzker actually kind of wasted the trip to D.C. He clearly was not ready for the prime time of this hearing, didn't answer any questions, couldn't answer the simplest of stuff there. He can't answer it because there are no good answers. Unless he wants to start prioritizing Illinois citizens over illegal aliens, he can't answer that stuff. In fact, every time he got asked a tough question, what did he do? He got angry and he basically started yelling at the Congress people there. But you know, I know it's really popular for these politicians like JB Pritzker, who have always been open borders, sanctuary state people, to say that now they support ICE, now that the American people are demanding it, but he has not done one thing during his tenure as governor to ensure that our local enforcement officials have the ability, because most of them want to actually cooperate with ICE, but he's made it harder. So he can sit up there and he can say whatever he wants about cooperation, but he's passed 2 or 3 pieces of legislation and signed it in the General Assembly that actually makes it harder to do that. So, you know, don't believe the stuff that he's saying there, because he's got these crazy ambitions, this fantasy where he thinks he's going to be president. I think we've seen in there clearly today that he doesn't have it, and the numbers don't lie. Hundreds of thousands of legal immigrants, although he couldn't mention any numbers in there. He doesn't know how much the state of Illinois apparently is spending on illegal immigration, which I think is completely ridiculous. We're spending $3.4 billion at the low end on illegal immigration, and that's at the expense of American citizens, and Illinois citizens. So no more excuses from JB Pritzker. He could fix this today if he wanted to, in this ridiculous fantasy sanctuary policy that is punishing Illinois citizens, and put Illinois citizens first, and we could end this we could end this nightmare right now. So I'm happy to take any questions.
In the hearing, the governor was asked his thoughts on including illegal immigrants in the census data. He refused to answer the question. What's your response to that?
Well, clearly they want to, include the illegal immigrants in the census, because that would be the only way that Illinois could be seen as not being extremely declining in population. Look, we lost 2 congressional seats, probably should have lost 3, and obviously they're counting on the illegal immigrants to prop up their numbers in Congress, and that's wrong. And I hope that Donald Trump fixes that.
Yeah, and what's the first sanction that Donald Trump should put on Illinois for not abiding by federal law?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the only way that the legislature and Governor Pritzker, the supermajority Democrat legislature, is going to take this stuff seriously. Illinois citizens are being harmed, okay? We're treating illegal immigrants. The quality of life for Illinois citizens have gone down. The quality of life for illegal immigrants are the only ones that have gone up. And you know, the purse strings are the only thing that's going to get these people to listen. So nobody really wants that. But, you know, at some point we got to make these